There was something I really wanted to mention, but I forgot what it was. It was funny. Oh, it was Linda McMahon, our favorite A1 Secretary of Education. A1 Linda McMahon is back. She testified today on Capitol Hill on C-SPAN. I think a Republican senator was asking her glazing questions and talking about how the Education Department has wasted $1.2 billion a year for over 10 years. And then they were like, that's over $1 trillion. And then the next guy up started quizzing her about that.
Madam Secretary, and I'm not a great mathematician, but I think you were talking about $1 trillion. I believe 1.5 billion times 10 is $15 billion. That's a little bit off from $1 trillion. But
I think the budget cuts 1.2 billion for TRIO.
Well, 1.2, that would be $12 billion, not $1 trillion.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay, agree to disagree. Our Secretary of Motherfucking Education. Something about her makes me lose it more than anyone else. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Something about having someone in WrestleMania just proudly and ignorantly talk when you're supposed to be in charge of our country's education is like, it's like, dude, how can anyone support this? How can you have her up there doing the math wrong? The simple math wrong. It's just so ignorant, bro. It's just so, just to be cocky and rich and stupid. Then to be in charge of our education system. I think it's because education is also really important to me. I think it's like becoming an issue I care more and more about. Maybe I'm just getting our teachers radicalized. Maybe it's this chat that's making me realize how brain rotted you all are. But I'm just realizing that, like, if we can't get people to even consider the idea of learning, we'll never fix any problem. That's the step one. We really have to get education back on track to have a long-term future. We can't fix the problems if no one can understand the problems. And it is deeply unnerving to have this woman saying what she says. And I already crashed out about the AI stuff, but this was also pretty stupid and just capped it off for me. Another thing, I don't have the clip in front of me. If you want to find it, maybe Ada should make a clip about this, you could add it, but I'll describe the clip to you. One of the senators asks Linda McMahon.
And what was we ranked in reading and math in 1979?
I'm sorry, what?
What was we ranked nationally in math and reading in 1979?
We were very, very low on the totem pole.
We're number one in 1979. Today.
Oh, in 1979. 1979. Okay.
In 1979, we were ranked number one around the world.
1979, you said? I'm not even kidding. She goes, oh, 79? Yeah. 79? Yeah. Shut the fuck up, dude. She's just making it up. She's like a bad hallucinating AI. She just makes it up as she goes along. Oh, 1979, you said. Anyway, he goes on with more questions. He was asking, he's like, hey, we used to be a really highly ranked country. Now we're a really low ranked country. What do you think happened? And of course, she would have no explanation. Anyway, disastrous. But maybe she's the GOAT, though. Counterpoint, maybe she's the GOAT. Just want to put that out there. Maybe she's the greatest education secretary of all time. Jury's not out. Listen, sometimes you're watching WrestleMania 7 and you don't know who's going to win. And you think maybe it's like The Undertaker or The Rock. And then Vince McMahon's wife comes in and chair slams somebody. And this really happened. It's a real thing that happened. And, the story can change. So maybe this is like that. Maybe it's like Linda's going to come in with a steel chair. She can wrestle, no argument, but she can't educate. Listen, buddy, no argument from me. Linda McMahon's one of the GOATs of wrestling, okay? She's up there with the greats. It's The Rock, it's The Undertaker, it's Linda. You'll never catch me saying a bad word about her in the ring. But in terms of education, she needs some work. She actually can't wrestle. Have you seen her take the Stone Cold Stunner? Linda McMahon, Stone Cold Stunner.
Linda McMahon.
You just got a beer bag. Exactly what was.
And I forgot to say, thank you.
Okay, wait. Can somebody make me a version of this with an American flag right here? Like over his face, the American flag. And I can tweet reply this to her stupid quote today. Can someone make me that? I would love to reply to her quote with this of just us stone cold stuttering Linda McMahon. Do it yourself? I can't edit video, bro. I can edit in Photoshop, but I can't edit video. I don't have that arcane knowledge. Anyway, yeah, what else did I? Dutch government. Okay, all I'll say is this about the Dutch government. When a European parliamentary democracy says that the government collapsed, as an American, you think, whoa, that's exciting. There must be riots in the streets. There must be some but the Dutch government collapsing, it just means their coalition doesn't have a majority anymore. And they have, it's like, it's not a big deal. They're just going to have new elections. And, they always make the headlines sound so badass. Like it's the end times. The government collapsed. It has implications for Prime Minister Dick Schoof. That's his real name. He looks like this. What? His government collapsed, and he's Dutch. But like this happened in Germany before their elections. Like it's not deeply uncommon. Dutchies ringing their bike bells in anger. His dick be shoofing. Yeah, I mean, I would say this has been something I've commented on in general, which is, it's happening in America too, but it's also happening in parliamentary democracies, and it's happening all over, which is a sense of gridlock, a sense that nothing substantial can get passed or moved on. So governments are grinding to a halt, which is causing more unrest. It's causing more this bubbling anger and populism, and you could say radical. People are just getting more and more upset because things aren't moving fast enough. Things aren't adapting fast enough. It increases the likelihood of like authoritarianism because democracy is not solving the problems. I feel like people are always saying things are getting worse though, when things are getting better. We're working on it. We're doing I think next week maybe we're going to do a oops, all good news lemonade stand. We're all bringing stories that we researched about things that are unequivocally good in the world, things that are getting better, things that are cool stories. We're doing that next Wednesday. I'm excited for it. No, it won't be a short app. There's a lot of good stuff, obviously, but I am of the opinion that post-COVID is a time of disruption and change, which is mostly bad, and it will lead to good times later, but it's going to be bad. I think it's bad and probably getting worse. I'm just being honest about what I think. In the short term, I think a lot of systems are straining against the changed world around them. A lot of things we built are like set up for a different time with different technology and different people. And now that all those things have changed, they're being strained against and they're cracking. Would you rather be alive now or 50 years ago? Things are better. Well, I always answer that question. I always say on the podcast, I say, every 100 years, life is clearly better. Like things are better than they were 100 years ago than they were 100 years ago. However, your example is so specific. As a white dude in America, the 1960s and 70s were like incredible. They were like incredible. It's like I could just fail upwards for 40 years. With my level of skill, I would have a almost guaranteed good life. I could go to any industry or any field and I could get a house easy. I could get endless lowering interest rates. So my house and my stocks and my assets will all appreciate with a tailwind for my entire life. So you picked a very specific example where like I probably would have a greater quality of life, like legitimately in 75. But I overall agree with your thesis that things get better over time for sure. The way I described it, this again, I keep saying the podcast, but like the way I always describe it is that society is an up and to the right sine curve, which means it looks like this. So like you can have local minimums. You can have local minimums, but you're obviously trending upwards. Did you just correct minimums into minima? I'm going to time you out for being that pedantic. Fuck you, curry hole. You absolute minima. Yeah, anyway, that's what I'm saying. So, you could argue that things are, quote, getting worse, but overall getting better. Do you see what I'm saying? What about the Dark Ages or the Bronze Age collapse? Things can trend down for hundreds of years now. It may seem optimistic to me. I think we're getting in the weeds here. I don't think the gaps on the curve are meant to be exactly equidistant 40-year gaps or whatever. I think it's more of like there's downs and then there's ups and there's downs and there's ups and there's downs and ups, but it's trending upwards. I also would say like, I know they're called the Dark Ages, but my understanding, a little bit of reading, is that there was still massive technological innovations, and certain groups, not the majority, but certain groups had prosperity in those times. Again, it's different. Dark Ages is Europe primarily, right? Versus, it's very Eurocentric view. How are the Dark Ages for me? Low key, I was so blazed for all of it, I barely remember it. I'm keeping it no cap with you. The Dark Ages for me were the high ages. That was my weed phase, to be honest. That's when I really got into weeds. There was the dank ages. That's a way better one. I call them the dank ages, dude, because I was toasty off that herb. No, I lost a few centuries there, easy. For real. And I was kicking it with the serfs, yeah. Serfs are fun, man. Or at the monastery.